people ask me that question.
Sure, sure. And if they saw there being no difference, then they might say, well, I could vote for it or vote against it. I don't know enough about it to know if it's worth marching out to vote on. And those might be the things that we'd want to focus on first. So what would be the tangible things that would be different? And some of them aren't so tangible as they are asking the question, why wouldn't we? I guess, I don't know, do you ask that when you get ready to get married? Why can't we just be engaged forever? I don't know.
I wasn't given that option.
I don't know why I said that. I'm not sure.
Then why did you look at me when...
Was that on tape that I just said this? Yeah, okay, well, a point of humor, I guess. So, some school districts like Pomeroy-Palmer and Pocahontas, I'll not look at you again, okay, I'll stand by you, looking over you. Pomeroy-Palmer and Pocahontas built it into their whole grade sharing agreement that, I believe, don't quote me, but I think it's 2 years of whole grade sharing and year 3 would be they'd start the reorganization process. They just built it into that agreement. Some schools, and I know that I shared this with you, but I don't know that I ever looked it up yet. There's a couple of schools in Iowa that have been in whole grade sharing arrangements for decades. And it just escaped me, and it kind of passed through this school down southwest of here that has been whole grade sharing for probably 12 or 15 years that is beginning to work on reorganization. One of the practical matters that we talked about is just the finance related to the incentive right now. And if the districts are, if they want to consider that financial incentive at all, if that's important to the districts, then, and you can't find any big reasons not to reorganize, then maybe finances are part of the reason that you do reorganize. School personnel, like the principals and the teachers, and sort of disappear from this committee because it really is truly a citizen-driven committee. Generally, and the things that I read linked to the school is the superintendent or the business manager, because you're asking for information. Lots of school information and data is on the Iowa Department of Education website. So if you took the superintendent, the business managers, and the DE website, a lot of the information about some of these topics would be able to be garnered from those sites.
That means 11 of us here. You take away the school personnel.
So since the DE doesn't seem to have anyone to do a feasibility study, what are other schools in the state doing? Are they doing it? Are they hiring somebody, or what are they doing?
Further northwest of us is a school that just had their public hearing and their vote, and their citizens committee did their own study because they felt like they were going to generate the list of questions that they thought people wanted answered. And then as they worked through the process, they kept soliciting their community about, if you wouldn't vote for it, what would be the reason? Because if there's something we can find out for you that you need to know to vote for it, we just want to know. Maybe we can't find information, and maybe you just say, I just don't want us to be together, and I really can't find any information for that. But theirs was truly a citizens-driven committee. I would imagine if somebody else came in and did this, it would be someone from another AEA or some retired Department of Ed or AEA person, I'm guessing.
And how expensive would that be?
I have no idea. I have no idea. But that would be the point, that it would need to go to the boards, because if the boards are, the boards would have to allocate funds then for that study. Now, the Department of Ed study for the whole grade sharing was just part of the services of the DE. But they're skinny on staff right now, and I think going to get skinnier probably with budget issues, so I don't, but I would imagine there's probably AEA personnel. I'm guessing it would be no one from our AEA, even anyone on staff, simply because they're probably pull somebody from outside of our area to be able to do it if someone was from an AEA. I did ask a person at the DE that I work with a lot about whole grade sharing, whether it's finance or whatever the topic is, and she really did not have a name. She said, if you're not going to conduct your own study, I don't really have a name for you. So that was helpful.
It would seem, since this is such, this is being so encouraged at the state, it would seem there would be somebody out there who would have an expertise in this. I mean, maybe, but did you ask about the foresight?
I didn't, but I can.
Well, I'll do it tomorrow. I'll ask you too.
I guess that's my question is, you know, take one of these areas. I don't feel like I'm capable to, you know, I could ask questions that I have, but am I going to cover everything, or me working with a couple people? I guess
Put all the information together.
yeah, and
Gotcha.
and then all of a sudden maybe at the end it's like, well, why didn't you put this in? Never thought of it. You know, something like that. I don't want to
Well, and sometimes, frankly, there's more credibility to someone coming from 50 miles away from home to do it, you know.
Well, even if there's a package of questions or something.
Well, yeah, that would be nice. So you knew that you were covering all the
bases.
bases. Yeah. A packet of questions would be great.
How-to kit or something.
There has to be that somewhere. There has to be.
It doesn't have a packet of questions, but the DE document has, under conducting the study, probably about 7 or 8 pages of 10-point font of topics. They're not in question format, but probably could be. Maybe one of the things you'd want to do would be to look at those to see, you look at it and go, holy buckets, there's no possible way we could do this. Or, you know what, maybe that's more doable now that we look at these topics. And
If we use technology, we could probably find a lot of information out there.
yeah.
Is that on the DE, is that a document on the DE
Yeah.
website?
Yeah.
Okay, what's it called?
Reorganization, dissolution, and sharing guidance.
Oh, okay.
I can send you the link for it.
Thank you. I'll put it in the notes so you can all look at it.
A citizen vote has to pass before November 1st of the year preceding the year that you would reorganize. There's a new schedule for special elections in Iowa because school board elections in particular are moving to a 4-year term rather than a 3-year. And the election that we look at would be an odd-year election. So in 2009, the election closest to November 1st of 2009 is the second Tuesday in September, which is September 8th. So this particular year it would be held, a special election could be held with a school board election. Okay. And then in 2010, there's a February, an April, again a September, and a December election. Odd years have February, April, June, and September. And so there's a schedule set up for even and odd elections. And it didn't used to be that that's how elections worked. But right now there is a special election schedule in the state of Iowa. And those are the times when there will be elections. So if it says February, it's the first Tuesday of February in 2010, for instance.
Who sets the day of the election?
I think this was legislated.
No, I mean, for if we... I mean,
date is...
If we went ahead and we got the signatures for the consolidation vote, who sets the date?
Well, you'd have either a June or a September date.
Right.
And so you probably would make a recommendation to the boards about, we want to take more time to try to educate our communities. And so we'd like to ask the board to consider a September 8th, 2009 election date. Okay? That would mean that you'd make the November 1st, 2009, so reorganization could begin July 1st, 2010. And if you look for that July 1st, 2011, then you've got a list of dates that you could possibly use. The only one that you couldn't in 2010 would be the December date. Then you'd have June of 09, September of 09, February, April, and September of 10 as possibilities. Chris,